first job was at the Cracker Barrel. I was a hostess, so I would stand at the front and people would come in and tell me how many they need seated, and then I would look at my chart and pick a table and take them to their table and tell them the specials. One of my friends actually worked there, and she said, hey, you should, get a job, get some extra money. And so I said, okay. She said she would talk to her manager to get me an interview, and she brought me the application. So really a lot of my jobs I've gotten in my life are ones where I knew somebody already, and then they would say, why don't you apply here? And so I applied at the Cracker Barrel, and she told the manager about me, so that's how I got my first interview. Yeah, I used her as a reference for my application, so they knew already that she, recommended me. Well, now you're asking me to think about quite a few years, so this could strain my memory, but all I remember about that is that she brought me the application and I filled it out, and then I think I took it in and gave it to them. I may have even called them to ask for an interview, even though she'd already spoken with them. And then I went in and we had the interview at one of the tables at the Cracker Barrel, which I don't know if I thought that was odd. For some reason I thought there would have been an office, but maybe restaurants don't do that. It was in the afternoon, so there were customers in the restaurant, but it wasn't very busy. I just tried to ignore all of them and just give all of my attention to the person who was interviewing me. Again, this is asking me to go back quite a number of years, but I did not have to do anything with the money, the cashier part. I just basically stood at the podium, and when people came in, I asked them how many and if they wanted a breakfast menu, and then I would choose a table. The hardest part was keeping the rotation correct, because the servers would get upset if you gave too many tables to one server, so you kind of had to keep track of the rotation. And then on Saturdays and Sundays, it would get so busy that we'd have a wait, so you would have to time that. People would come up and you'd have to take down their name and tell them how long of a wait it would be, and then I would have to announce their name and go find them when they had a table. And on those days, I was running back and forth all day. Those days went really fast and I was really exhausted at the end of the day. So those were the biggest challenges of that position. And I think in any position you get, one of the biggest challenges is getting to know your coworkers and developing a good relationship with them, and just being able to be professional in that way. That always takes time. My biggest takeaway from that employment, because that was really my first job, so I think my biggest thing I learned is, how to be on time, how to talk with your boss about, hey, I need a day off, because, to rearrange your schedule, how to work with other people, because you have to be able to have that conversation, and you have to have that conversation in an appropriate or a professional way. So those are things you have to learn, and just managing a lot of interacting with other people was really what I took away from that, and just knowing the expectations of a job, being on time, and when you get to work, making sure that you do your job. And if I had downtime, then I had to learn to ask, well, what can I help with? Because a lot of times there'd be a space of time when nobody was really coming into the restaurant and it was a lull, and so then I could maybe do some stocking in the store or something, but I had to go ask to do that. I worked there for about 2 years, and then I left because I went to college and I was no longer in the area where that job was. I think the biggest thing when you're trying to get a job is that first impression that you make when you go into hand in your application. Make sure that you're dressed nice, that you look nice. Make sure you try to talk to the manager, and then give a call and ask for an interview. And if you do get the job, just make sure it's the little things. Make sure you're on time, make sure you're polite, make sure you get all of your duties completed. That would be my advice.